It's finally here, everybody, the Penn State lineup preview. I've been dying to talk about this, and you have voted. You, the Fanco Wrestling community, voted to see the Penn State lineup preview this week. Please make sure that you always comment and leave your suggestions in the comments below, because I am listening, and I only do the lineups that you want to see. So Penn State, after winning their 8th title in 9 years, Penn State's ready to make history yet again. It's that time of year again when Penn State gets into looking for national titles. Now, they are losing a couple guys. And two of those big guys that they're losing, of course, are Jason Nolf and Bo Nickel. Two major losses, of course, multiple-time national champions, Hodge Trophy winner in Bo Nickel. It's upsetting to see them go if you are a Penn State fan. Now, what's exciting is a couple of the guys who we thought were going to graduate in Shakur Rashid, Anthony Cassar, they're still here. And they still have a year of eligibility. Cassar actually has 2. I'll get to that in just a little bit. And there actually is another 6-year senior on the team. Do you know who it is? I will get to that in just a bit. Now, unfortunately, Penn State didn't necessarily have a strong recruiting class in class of 2019. They had 1 out of the top 100. Now, of course, for Penn State, Cassar was not listed in the top 100 in his recruiting class, and he ended up winning the national title. So, really, recruiting classes don't necessarily always mean a whole lot. Now, as far as their schedule goes, their first goal this season will be against Arizona State. We won't see Mark Hall versus Zahid Valencia. I mean, unless Mark Hall bumps up or Zahid bumps down, but because Zahid bumped up, we won't see that national finals match happen again. Now, the first match is at home on December 8th. We will also see Penn State wrestle at Iowa and Ohio State at home. This team right now is ranked number 1 by Flow Wrestling. But without further ado, let's dive into this lineup. So, talking about 125 pounds, there are a few guys here of note. A few guys to note here, in Devin Schnupp, who's a returner last year. He wrestled 3 seasons for Penn State. Of course, this weight has been almost cursed for the Nittany Lions, and it's been unfortunate because Nick Suriano was there, ended up transferring out due to his reasons. Gavin Tizo was there at 125, ended up transferring out, and both of those guys are potential national champions. I mean, obviously, Suriano has already won a national title, but I think Tizo is a potential national champion. But Schnupp is the first guy, the junior. Brody Teske is another guy, redshirt freshman. Right now, he's unranked. He went 6-2 last year, wrestled a couple of opens. Now, Teske is a 4-time Iowa State champion. He wrestled 176 matches in high school, only lost 1 of those. He was the top recruit in the class of 2018. A couple other guys at this weight are Brandon Meredith, a redshirt freshman, wrestled at the Messiah Open last year, went 3-1. Jack Davis, the redshirt freshman, who could go 125 or 33. He had a close loss to Vito Arujau of Cornell last year at the Bearcat Open. That was his closest match of the year, or best match of the year. Ended up losing that 5-2. And the other guy I want to mention, but he's actually not listed on Penn State's roster right now, is Matt Parker. You may have known I reported on this a couple of months ago that Matt Parker is transferring from Lehigh to Penn State, but he's not listed on the roster this year. I don't know if this is because he's taking an Olympic redshirt year or there are some other reasons here, but just somebody else to note there. The starter here, I think, is going to be Brody Teske, coming in as a redshirt freshman. Moving on to 133, the first guy, as I mentioned, is Jack Davis, just a redshirt freshman coming in, could be in the lineup there. But the other 2 guys are Austin Clabaugh, the sophomore, wrestled a couple opens last year, and RBY, also known as Roman Bravo Young, the returner from last season, the sophomore, is ranked 6th right now at 133 pounds, placed 8th at the national tournament. He was 25-7 overall last year. He had an incredible win over Mickey Philippi. Luke Pletcher, of course, he ended up losing a couple of those at the national tournament, but he did have an early win over Luke Pletcher, who placed high as an All-American. And he does have a couple of losses to Austin DeSanto. I think he's got to be looking to overcome those losses, and he was looking over the summer to improve and see how he can do this year and place a lot higher than he did even last year. But placing as a freshman is pretty impressive, and that's why Roman Bravo Young is going to be the starter at 133. At 141, a few guys here One main guy, but a few guys, and the first guy is Nick Lee. Nick Lee, of course, right now is ranked number 2 in the country. Last year, he had a phenomenal year. Right now, he's ranked behind Dom Demas. Last year, he lost him at Nationals, but what's exciting this year is at 141, there's no Yanni. And while I think, Nick Lee could give Yanni a good match, I think it's just nice to have him out of the way. So now the path's clear just a little bit more. Now, Lee took 5th last year at the national tournament. It was 31-4. He had a great win over Joey McKenna early on, ended up losing him at the national tournament. He also had some nice wins over Keenan Storr, Max Murin, Chad Reds. Phenomenal season for Nick Lee. Breakout season, really, in my opinion. A couple other guys behind Nick Lee are Scott Obendorfer, the sophomore, Mason Lindenmuth, and Dom Giangeli. All these guys were on a couple opens last year. And then another sophomore is Joey Bloomer, who is a sophomore from Kiski Area High School, of course, in Pennsylvania. But the starter here is going to be Nick Lee. Now, at 149, last year we saw Jared Verclaren and Brady Berge kind of share this weight a little bit and wrestle a couple different matches, but Verclaren is a guy coming in 15-6. We could see him take an Olympic redshirt year. You never know. Penn State's very, very hush-hush about all of their lineup and what they're going to do, so we don't know exactly what's going to go on. But he was 15-6 last year. His best match was probably to Micah Jordan. I was there for that duel, Ohio State versus Penn State, which was an incredible match. He ended up, almost coming back, almost beating Micah Jordan, but ended up losing that in the end. Verclaren, if you don't know, also is a cadet world champion. That's why I think he may be looking to take that Olympic redshirt year. The other guys here, as I mentioned already, at 141 was Joey Bloomer, but we could also see Luke Gardner, the junior, who's 8-6 last year, wrestled a couple of opens, and then Bo Pfeiffer, who's also a junior, was 10-7 last year, lost to Jared Verclaren in 2018, but Pfeiffer is a 3-time Colorado State champion. So if Verclaren does take that Olympic redshirt year, at least he has a couple good backups to come in and start this year. But I think that Verclaren is going to be the starter at 149. At 157, the guy that is going to, we could see Pfeiffer moving up to 157. And the other guy I mentioned already is Brady Berge, the sophomore. Right now, he's ranked 5th in the country by Flow Wrestling. He ranked behind a couple guys like Hayden Hiley, Caleb Leung, 2 guys in the Big Ten who are going to give him some trouble. But he is moving up. He's moving up, and it'll be interesting to see how he does against some of these guys. He was 20-5 last year at 149. Like I said, some of his best wins were over Pat Lugo, a ranked Jared Prince, and Jarrett Deegan. He's a 2018 Junior Worlds bronze medalist, so we could also see him take an Olympic redshirt year. We just don't know yet. The other guy here is Paul Fati, a redshirt freshman, is 4-5 at the Open. So we could see Pfeiffer probably jumping in behind Berge if Berge takes that Olympic redshirt year, but I think that Berge is going to be ultimately the starter at 157 pounds. Now, the next guy on this list is Vincenzo Joseph. Vincenzo Joseph, coming at 165 pounds, of course, will be very exciting to watch this year. A 3-time national finalist, 2-time national champion. Now, he's ranked 1st in the country right now at 165. What's nice is the returning national champion isn't returning this year in Mekhi Lewis, so that leaves the road a little bit more open. Of course, he's going to have some tough battles with Alex Marinelli of Iowa, just like he has in the past. Now, he was 27-2 last year. He's still looking for that Big Ten championship, even in his senior year, and I'd love to see him get that this year. And I think he can. I think that if he beats Marinelli, he's just going to have to find a way to do that. Now, he also has wins. Everybody wants to talk about everybody's losses, but he does have wins over Josh Shields, Isaiah White of Nebraska, Logan Massa, and Chance Marceller. So he has really shown his dominance at 165 pounds in his weight class. The other guy at this weight class is Mason Manville, a sophomore. Could see him taking an Olympic redshirt year. He's actually not even listed on the roster right now. It was a 2017 Greco-Roman World Team member, so we could see him taking that Olympic redshirt year. Because he's not on the roster, I could see that as the reason why. And there are a couple redshirt freshmen as well as true freshmen such as Carter Starachi. So I think the guy really, though, that's going to star at this weight is, of course, Vincenzo Joseph. Now, the next guy on this list is Mark Hall. Mark Hall is going to be the starter at 174 pounds. Mark Hall, of course, is a three-time national finalist, a one-time national champion, looking for his second title. Now that Zahid Valencia is out of the way, not saying that he couldn't beat him, because obviously he did last year, he showed that, but it's nice to have him out of the way and move up a weight class. Now, he's also going to have his hands full with Miles Amin and Michael Kemmer at 174. It was 30-1 last year. It was Mark Hall. And he's moving. This is his second undefeated season going into the national tournament. It was 62-2 over the last two seasons, with those two losses only coming to Zahid Valencia. Now, the other guy here is Richie Haywood, who's a true freshman, but I see him taking that redshirt year, and he could also star at 184, but as I said, probably going to take that Olympic redshirt year. Now, the next guy on this list, on this roster at Penn State, is Shakur Rashid, and this is where our six-year seniors start coming in. The last three guys on Penn State's roster are six-year seniors, which I already know is going to upset a lot of people, but that's the name of the game, and this is how it is. And if you're a Penn State fan, it'll be exciting to see how they do. Now, Rashid is ranked 6th by Flow Wrestling right now, 6th in the country, behind Zahid Valencia, moving up a weight class, Ben Darmstadt, Nino Bonacorsi, just name a couple of guys. Was 21-2 last year. Of course, he had a very exciting season, was undefeated going into nationals. Some controversy at the Big Ten tournament with Miles Amin, and his best win was over Taylor Venz. Now, the other guy here is Aaron Brooks, the true freshman, four-time Maryland State champion, if you didn't know, and it was the number 2 recruit in the class of 2018 behind Gable Stevenson. So that's very interesting to see. Now, he trained at Titan Mercury Wrestling Club last year. Could see him take an Olympic redshirt year. It was a 2017 cadet world champion, and that's why I say we could see him take that Olympic redshirt year, because he is a freestyle wrestler at heart. A 2018 silver medalist at the Junior World Tournament, and he actually wrestled a couple of college tournaments in high school. So that's why this is true freshman year, even though he graduated in 2018. It's his true freshman year. We also have Austin Hoops, a redshirt freshman, was 6-6 last year, so a couple opens. And then we have a couple other freshmen coming in here. But the starter here that I think is going to start is Shakur Rashid. At 197 pounds, a transfer coming in is Kyle Conel. Kyle is coming in from Kent State, of course. He coincidentally kind of helped Penn State win the national title in 2018 in Cleveland, Ohio. How did he do that? Well, he pinned the number 1 ranked wrestler in the country in Colin Moore, knocking him down in the consolation brackets and essentially helping Penn State win that national title because Moore couldn't score more points. Now, Conel had a standout tournament that year in 2018. Last year, he had a medical redshirt year. Right now, he's ranked 3rd in the country, behind Moore, behind Patrick Bruckey. It's understandable that he's ranked behind these guys right now, taking that year off. And really, in his year before, he was 30-11, so he had some losses on the season, but it'll be exciting to see what he does this year for Penn State. The other guy here is a true freshman, Michael Beard. Michael Beard, another possible Olympic redshirt. Again, like I said, we just don't know. We just don't know. But if you want to know and if you want to be in the know, make sure that you subscribe to this Fanco Wrestling channel where we talk all about that wrestling news. Now, he, from Penn State, did not wrestle at Penn State last year. Was 12-0 though. He did wrestle a couple of college tournaments in high school. There are a couple other freshmen at this weight class, so we'll see a couple guys moving up in the future. But the starter here is probably going to be Kyle Conel. He's going to be the starter at 197. And at 285, we're going to see Anthony Cassar returning. Cassar will be returning for his what technically be his only junior year. It'll be like his 5th senior year, but no, he's another 6-year senior. I guess he's a junior, he's a senior, whatever. He's ranked 1st in the country now, the returning national champion for Penn State, and I believe the only returning national champion for Penn State. Of course, he's going to have some tough guys in his weight, in Stevenson, in Jordan Wood, and Tanner Hall, and Jerry Hino. It's going to be a tough year for Cassar, but he could pull it off again. He was 30-1 last year. He avenged that loss that he had early in the season to Derek White. Ended up beating Gable Stevenson twice in the postseason, which was exciting to see as a Penn State fan. And it'll be exciting to see what he does. Now, the other guy at 285 is Seth Neville. Seth Neville is a top recruit in the class of 2018, a four-time California State champion, the brother to Nick Neville, who, of course, wrestled as an All-American for Penn State a couple of years ago, and his other brothers at Fresno State in AJ Neville's. Now, overall, yes, I do think that Cassar's ended up going to get this starting position, but as a team, I think Penn State has potential for 7 All-Americans. I think that this team really has that potential this year with 5 potential champions. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think there is potential for 5 guys from Penn State to win. And it's going to be a close race this year yet again between Ohio State, but more importantly, between Iowa. Iowa's coming in with a team that has the potential to have 10 All-Americans, and I'm not lying about that, has that potential. So Penn State has to pull out something great. Yet again, they've done it in the past. Can they do it this year? Now, if you love these lineup previews, make sure you check out the other lineup previews on this channel because I talk all about those every week on the Fanco Wrestling Show.